Got yourself?
Scott Zimmerman, you fell for the old gag. I do that every single time, and no one ever laughs at it. So thank you for being the first.
Funny.
I've been doing the like I caught myself for I probably for 300 episodes now,
Oh my
and
god.
here you are being number one to catch it and laugh at it.
That's
It
funny.
takes consistency. That's what I always talk about. That's
That's
why I
it.
beat the drum, because you got to stay consistent with things.
You
The
got
drum
one.
represents that.
That's funny.
You take 300 swings, you hit the 300th.
Right, exactly. God, that's funny. Funny.
So I'm grateful. I'm happy that you joined me. Thank you for your patience. Thanks for hanging. I know we had a little weirdness when it came to like the scheduling part of it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to
We're good. We're good though.
tell you
We're
how
good.
grateful I am for your time, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
A thing I constantly talk about. I'm sure I'll talk about it a few more times in this episode, but how grateful I am for the currency of your effort. The currency of anyone's effort is so much more valuable than any money that you'll ever buy or spend or steal or borrow. Like it is so valuable. That
Yeah, no, I
currency.
love it. Love it.
So
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
I'm I'm excited because I think you're about to start a podcast. Is that right?
I
You're
am. Yeah, I've actually started. By the way, I watched some of your podcasts and I give you a lot of credit. I mean, you work hard. It's not easy. I actually, what I did is I hired a company. It's called Podify, and they actually help set it up. They've done all the work for me for the most part. I have to do a lot of things, but it by me paying them, it's made it a little bit easier for me. But doing a podcast is not it's not easy the way it probably looks like. So I know I give you a lot of credit, and it's a lot of time. It's a huge commitment. Yeah. For mine's going to be called. And so I've already had 4 episodes recorded. I committed to going 52. I'm not expecting anything in return. It's not about me. I just want to ask guests really cool questions, probably the way you're doing it. And it's basically called "Nobody Told You This." Scott Zimmerman. I'm just talking to really cool people about things that they share and that people should know that may have not heard before that can help them. And maybe they've heard it before. This is the third or fourth time, but maybe hopefully
Is
with
there a
my
question
questions.
mark in the in the title? Nobody told you
Say
this?
again.
Is there
Yeah,
a
nobody
question
told
mark
you
in the
this. I have that. I haven't. The company said, hey, you gotta have 10 of them done. Release 5, then you have 1 a week. So they wanted me to store them up before I started doing them. So I've done 4. I have 6 more recordings set up, and then I'll release 5, and then every week we'll be putting 1 out. So it's gonna be super exciting.
That's the strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
Strategery. Really,
Strategic.
really winning
I like
strategery.
it. Yes.
I I really had no plan. I had no strategy. I have no like I don't want to say no structure, but I mean I have no like I don't know if I have like necessarily like a I have to hit these points and I have to like hit these metrics and the analytics have to be this exact thing. I don't have anybody that I'm committed to making sure that they get this. It's
Right.
really um and you nailed it. Like it's like these are conversations that I think should be had. I think anybody who has anybody who has a perspective, which means everybody has a perspective that nobody else has. Nobody has lived the world through your eyes. No one has seen the world through your eyes and lived the experiences that you've lived, seen the things you've seen, learned the lessons that you've learned. So like we all owe it to everybody else in the world to kind of share those things. So like
Right.
everyone else can be like, "Oh, I learned from this guy's mistakes," or like, "Oh,
Right.
instead of going like, oh, well, like I look at it like life is like the first board in Super Mario Brothers, right? The first board you go up, you go break that brick, and then that first turtle guy kills you, and then the second
Right.
time you get out of the way of that turtle guy, So like you get multiple goes at it.
I like the analogy, that's for sure. That's a cool analogy. Yeah, no, I think you're right, man. It's like, you learn from people's mistakes, you learn from their successes, and you learn people have different experiences in life. I think you're right on. It's like everybody's got their own experiences and you don't want to take it away, and everybody's got to go through their own experience. But maybe if you hear somebody's experience, what they did or shouldn't have done, it could help you along the way. So I totally agree with you. Fast track some success or fast track some lessons that you don't need to go through or you want to go through, right?
Also, I've experienced so much cool stuff that like if I don't talk about it, I might forget about it. And if
Right.
you know what I mean, like
True.
I have it on the record. So if I forget about it and then I go back and listen, I go, oh yeah, I do remember that now. Like it's just a cool little reminder and a nugget for me to like keep everything. And I say this all the time. I keep everything as like a time capsule on right here and right now in this present moment, because
Yeah.
like I go back and listen to episodes. I started recording episodes of this podcast when I was 33 years old. I'm now
Wow.
41, and I can go back and go like, listen to the type of things that I was going through at that time. Listen to the type of person I was. Listen to the type of host I was. Listen to like the type of questions I asked and what was fascinating to me. And like, and the seeing the growth and the evolution of it since that. That's why it's called evolving, because the show's going to change because I'm going to change, and you can listen along and you can
Right.
watch along. You can come evolve with me.
That's a good, I mean, that's pretty good. So you started at 33, so you've been doing this 8 years straight.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing. It's
And
amazing.
and the when the pandemic hit, I just did a whole bunch of them, all
Right.
virtual. That that like opened up the possibilities of the type of guests you
Right.
can have, and like the limitations of like scheduling someone to come in and like sit with you. Like
Yeah, totally.
I used to have to do a studio, and I used to have guests come into the studio, and like what a changer it is that like that
Yeah.
this exists now where we can do everything kind of virtually and do remote stuff.
I mean, you think about it, like, I'm in Los Angeles, you're in Philly, and it's
Yeah,
happening right now. No one's flying anywhere. Totally, totally
yeah,
agree with you. Yeah, you can do anywhere. I've been fortunate, I've been invited on a lot of podcasts lately, and I've done some in other countries. It's like, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's kinda cool, and I think you're right, the pandemic totally changed things. I think it was happening in the beginning, it was already happening, people working from home, and things have been doing it, but now it's like, now it's just a norm. It's a norm.
yeah. Dude,
Totally
I
agree.
miss I miss working remote. Like during the pandemic, being able to work remote, and now it's like I have to go to work. But I don't want to do all that. Like it
Yeah,
was so much easier to just like roll out of bed, come in here, and hit the computer on, and then I'm at
right.
work. Uh,
That's
but
funny. It's funny.
uh,
Yeah.
now, Scott, out of all the podcasts that you've been guests on, out of all the interviews that you've been a part of, where they've asked you questions, what's one
Mhm.
question that you've never been asked that you've always wanted to be asked?
Let me think, 'cause I don't know. Let me just think. I'll think of something interesting. Yeah, usually it's like work related, like what do you do? How did you get in business? How long you been doing it? All those different things. But I would say, you know, instead of talking about work, like personally, like, I think some cool things I've done that no one's really asked me. Is that what you're asking? It's like, like I would say, I've done a lot of cool things as far as adventure. I was a member, like I met these people through work. Like I had some clients, they invited me to this trip many years ago, and every year I did these crazy adventure trips with these guys, and it was just like a guy thing. We get out of the country, we do these things that most people never wanted to do, or they'd be really difficult or really extreme. And it was just a cool experience. Like the first time I remember the guy asking me, he's like, "Hey man," he goes, "We're doing a camel safari through Morocco." I'm like, "Hey, you want to go?" I'm like, "Well, what is that?" He's like, "We're taking camels. We're having these people, and we're going through the Sahara Desert for a week." I'm like, "That's cool. That's different." Like, it was my
Whole week.
first one. Yeah. Then I did hike Kilimanjaro with these guys and hike Machu Picchu, and we did caving in Belize, and we did snowmobiling through Yellowstone for a week with no cars. I mean, the list goes on. Norway went trekking from us cross country skiing from hut to hut. It was a horrible trip, but we just did this. It was like hours of this horrible thing. And but it's 20 some odd years of me doing just these cool trips with these cool guys that most people would never want to do. And the wives never wanted to go. So it was like just, it's a bonding experience. So that was kind of cool. Just doing all sorts of cool stuff like that. So
Wow.
that's something that I've never really talked about.
You never talked about that.
Nope. Because,
How valuable is that stuff? I mean, like the fact that like no, you wouldn't have otherwise ever talked about it, but like you
yeah,
come on here and we'll have a conversation and I'll talk to you and like now we could unbox 100 experiences now and get like
100 easy.
lessons, so many lessons
Easy.
out of that could like really assist anybody on any of the things that they're trying.
Yeah, no,
Really everything.
totally. I mean, I'll tell you, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because I think there's more to life than work. And I believe me, I'm a workaholic. I love what I do. I work my butt off. I've been doing the same thing for 35 years. I'm excited about what I do, but there is more to life, just as far as enjoying yourself and not just doing work and bonding with other people besides your work people or your family. It's just and experiences, and those are things that you, when the time comes, that's stuff you remember. It's like those things, not how much money you had or how much money you have, or no one really cares. So I think it's all about memories, and memories also with your family too, which is really important. Like I'm older than you, but I got kids, and it's like those are the things I think about a lot more than money. I do focus on making a living all day long because that's what I do. But when I really think about it, everything else that really is what really matters. So I totally was. Yeah, so you asked me a question like I really don't talk about personal things. I would, but you don't want to. I don't want to come across like I'm bragging. That's the last thing I ever want to do. And I also don't want to, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. And, but no one really asks you personal questions. It's usually about business stuff. I don't know if you feel the
You know
same
what
way,
the
Cory.
weird thing is,
Yeah.
Scott? I don't want to come across like I think I'm better than everybody, but I
Yeah.
do think I'm better than everybody.
In what ways?
I, I'm 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 halfway kidding. I'm halfway kidding.
Yeah,
But
right.
but I mean I have a better body. I have a better hair. I'm more handsome than
You got
most.
good hair, man. Yeah. And by the way,
All,
I would
all those
say,
things are very surface and very fleeting. Like any
right.
moment, any of those things could be pulled away from me.
That's funny. That's
I
true.
I
I,
have
I
a
would say,
discipline. I have a consistency that all of that stuff. I appreciate it so much every minute. So it's not like I go, I'm better than you, and like there's just no competing.
right,
It's
right.
it's like I I'm not. It's not that I feel like I'm better than anybody particularly, but I think and I feel like I'm always better than I was the day before, and I just want that to be the case.
I love that. I love that. I would say that I'm similar to you is that I how's this like try and always think about being better than I was. And I would say in life that's just I don't ever want to stay stagnant. I always want to better myself because I feel like you're either growing or dying. I don't want to die. I just want to grow. I just want to grow in every sense of the matter. Just and by the way, I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I'm lazy, and sometimes I don't want to. I don't want to do the things I should be doing, but I do like to focus on growing for sure, not being stagnant, sitting on the couch, watching TV, which I do, but no, I don't
Uh,
want to do that shit all day. Sorry.
the it just made me think of like Do you know Shane Gillis? Do you know the comedian Shane Gillis?
Yeah, I do know who Shane Gillis is. Yeah.
He has a bit where he talks about like everybody everybody says like I'm not racist. It's like uh, it's like people go like yeah, but like he said something about like comparing it to being hungry. And he's like when you're hungry and then you get cut off by a cheeseburger, like you're a fucking cheeseburger. Like
Yeah.
it's like everything is circumstantial. Everything is bendable and flexible and ever evolving. That's part
You're
of the
right.
part when you said if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not
Right.
evolving, you're dying. You always got to
I
change
agree.
into something different than what you were 5 seconds before that.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. Um, yeah, no, I'm just curious. I mean, I know it's your podcast, but like, what do you do different every day that where you're focused on how to better yourself, or where you're looking back and improving? Obviously, you and I talked earlier. You go, hey man, I'm going to go hit the gym and work out. I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, yeah, I think about that a lot too because you should be doing that every day, right? At least 4, 5, 6 days a week, whatever. Just bettering your life. But what are the things you do that I'm just curious?
Uh, I think it's just the smallest things. It's not like that there's one main thing that I absolutely make sure I have to do every day that makes me better. It's just like if I if I forgive a little bit more in a day. If you know what I mean, if I forgive something, if I put something down that I was carrying for too long. Like it's just
Mhm.
incremental things and it's
Love that,
like if it's growing philosophies, learning more things about like about any topic,
dude.
things that might
Yeah,
fascinate you, or maybe like going like I'm trying to get better at being a content creator, being more like I am taking more stock in the idea of the influence part of an influencer. Like that's I know that's like the goal of every young kid these days is to be like an
mhm,
influencer. They don't want to be firemen and policemen and things like that anymore. They want to just be an influencer. I,
right,
I I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a podcaster. I want to be an actor. I want to be a comedian. These are the things I want to do and have those things also be influential. So
right,
it's not that I just want to be an influencer. There is a far bigger overarching message and scape to the whole thing. Like I want to be able to have conversations with people where they'll be like, "You know what? I wish I would have paid money to have this conversation with you." You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I want to be someone who like if I'm playing at a theater, I see my name on the marquee and I see a line of people lined up to watch me do whatever it is I'm doing. Whether
because you
it's
want to influence
acting,
people in a
wrestling,
positive way.
right. I wanna be a speaker. I wanna be an actor. I wanna be a stand-up. Like I do stand-up comedy and I want to get to the point where like I could like tour. I wanna like tour doing that. I wanna tour wrestling. Uh I wanna no matter what I'm doing, I wanna make sure that what I'm doing is inspirational to the younger version of me watching me do those things.
That is so good. You know what it's reminding me of? Do you follow any like positive people or like
Gary Vee?
uh,
Yeah.
okay, but I feel you do. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know who a guy named Ed Milet is? Ed Milet. He's like he's just a really he's one of those thought leaders, like one of the biggest out there right now. But he says,
That's a word I don't use enough. Thought leaders.
yeah,
Yes.
he really is. Like if you look him up, he always says, whenever that day comes where he's gonna pass away, he wants to make sure he was the man they lived up to the man they were supposed to be. So when that day comes, he wants to have no regrets, not about what he did or success, but like, was he the man at his dying day that he lived the way he wanted to live? I think, man, that's so powerful. It's kind of what you're saying. So I just really appreciate it. And it just kind of reminded me of him because it's like, I think that's the way I'd want to go too. Is like, did I do everything to be the man I wanted to be? So it's pretty cool what you just said. So Yeah,
Scott,
kinda deep.
who were you raised by both parents? What was growing up like for you?
Yeah, no, listen, I was, born and raised in Los Angeles, in the suburbs of Los Angeles. Super boring, in the suburbs, blue collar family. Dad worked really hard. They always were struggling. Um, yeah, and I just a regular, boring life, to be honest with you. Like I was able to, I've never been on an airplane with my parents, but I played sports. Um, we go to dinner out to dinner once a week to the same Chinese restaurant, and had a younger brother, and we just lived. It's just I had a fine life. There was nothing exciting. Just a lower to mid, middle class guy, and that's how I lived. How about you?
You know, I think I may have asked that question to say like, I didn't have my dad in my life when I was a kid, and I think that the man I am growing into, and I'm finally getting there, is I'm growing into the man that I wish that was there and raised me as a
Oh,
kid.
dude, that's amazing, dude. That's amazing. Yeah, I love that, man. That's so
I,
good.
I
Yeah.
didn't like know it. You know what I mean? I had no idea, and like it just hit me within the last like couple days, probably, like
Wow.
that revelation of like, man, like I didn't. I didn't have role models. I didn't have adult male role models. Like, but like now, if I'm around younger people and I could coach them in some way and I could teach them something they didn't know, and like kind of change their perspective on things and inspire some people in some cool ways, like that makes me feel like I'm a little bit closer to being the man that I wish that would have raised me.
Dude, that's powerful. Dude, that's powerful. I'm just being honest with you. That's like, it's deep. That's pretty emotional. When you said it, I kind of like feel it in my heart. That's awesome. Um, it's interesting you say that just because we're just free flowing with dialogue. It's like my dad was he did the best he could, and I don't want it to come across like I don't know who's gonna, my family, who's gonna see this in my family. My dad he did the best he could, but it's gonna sound crazy because my dad was a great guy, but I try and do everything. I try and do things that he didn't do. Like I try and better myself because he did the best he could, but there was
Right.
lots of flaws.
He was less equipped than you to do the
Yeah,
things that you
yeah,
wound up doing. And like this is like I don't hold on to anger towards my father. And I'll still
yeah.
have conversations with my dad. Like he wasn't around when I was real young, but like when I got in my teens, like we started talking and like we we stopped talking for a very long time and started talking again. I don't hold anything against him. I'm not
Right,
I'm not saying I'm better than him and I'm like going out of my way to be a good man to spite him. Like
right.
I fully accept that he was what he was, and I've even told him, "I'm glad you weren't there. Like you needed to be where you were so I could grow into the person that I needed to be."
Yeah,
Like and like I don't carry around regrets or resentments towards him or anybody for being the part that they played in my life because I love me so much. Like
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't
Dude,
imagine it going any other way.
gosh, you're reminding me of something. Do you care if I like talk about this thought?
Sure, yeah.
It's just you're reminding me of something like Tony Robbins, and I'm going to take it out of character, but I was at one of his events recently, and he does these things that he does these what do you call it? Interventions. Someone can stand up, there'll be 20,000 people there, 15,000. Someone will ask a question. He just really knows how
I've
to
seen the
go
Netflix
deep.
documentary.
Yeah, and what he does, so many people hold on to things, which you obviously are not doing. But when someone's had something bad in their life, not that you did, but he would say, like, he'd said something, I just remember him saying, like, you should, I'm gonna take it out of context, but let's just say he basically said, you should go thank like me. Like I thought about it. My dad's been passed away 8 years ago, but I should thank my dad. Like if he was alive, like I would say to him, thank you for you being how you were. You did the best you could, but you just made me a better man because I wouldn't say because I tried to do things different than you did, but I realized how I wanted to be a father. I have children, and I was like, I wanted to do different than what he did, but I learned like how I didn't want to be or what I wanted to be. So if he was around, I would thank him. And I've thought about it a lot, going, man, I wish I could thank my dad because I think I am a really good dad, and I love my kids, and I just would want to thank him for everything that he taught me without realizing he taught me. But I didn't realize it too much later, and I had to think about it. It's almost like what you just said, like you appreciate him for whatever he did. You ended up the way you are, maybe because he wasn't around, like this
I mean,
better man.
also,
It's
I mean,
it's interesting.
he had kids with another woman, and those kids needed him. Like they didn't have a good mom like I did. Like I would have rather them had one good parent than me have two. One was good and one wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's a different, yeah. That's a great mindset, man. I'm telling you, pretty
like
powerful to be honest with
and
you.
like I went. He he lives in Texas and he's lived in Texas for 25 years now. I went and visited him in Texas in 2006 when my little sister, who's she's the oldest of those four, when she graduated high school in 2006,
Mm,
and I saw my dad in a different way uh, than he was when he was around for my young
right, right,
tween.
right.
My dad was running the vacuum. My dad was cooking dinner and doing this stuff. Like he was being to those kids what he wasn't for us. So he had to teach himself how to be the type of father. Like that's
Yeah,
I can't be angry. Like he had to learn how to be a good dad through being a bad dad first. And I'm not
makes
bitter
sense.
at those kids. I'm not bitter at him. Like I don't hold that. I love my dad. I don't know him
Yeah,
that well, but like I don't I'm not mad about it. Like he brought
right,
me into this world. Like I can't stay mad at like my siblings. I can't stay mad at anybody. Anybody like if anybody says that they got the worst things to say about me, which like I don't know many people that have that bad anything bad to say about me, but like if they were to have bad things to say about me and they were like talking shit or whatever, like let them
right,
like if they need that, let them have it.
right,
Like
right, right.
I
Funny.
mean, I, in wrestling, and I always we talk about not wanting to come across as bragging or whatever. When I say in wrestling, if I've been around for 20 plus years, and I say, ask around about me in the wrestling business, ask anybody who's had any dealings with me if there's anything bad to say about me. The only people who will ever have anything bad to say are the people who have something bad to say about everybody. And
Right,
then you have to think about the sources that you consider as credible sources.
right. Totally. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Huh? You just get me thinking about a lot of different things. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. Do you have any children?
I don't. No, I don't have any kids. But
Yeah.
I don't want them. I
Okay.
mean, I I mean, I I just feel like I when I was 11, my little sister was born. So I spent my teens and like my 20s doing like the little kid thing, the changing the diapers and running around and
Right, right,
first
right.
steps and first words and all that stuff. Like I I don't feel like I don't feel like I, I can't. Coming across wrong with saying this is my concern. I feel like the world is a weird place, and if I'm supposed to just unconditionally love something from moment one, how can I do that and bring them into this world? This world that is so full of everything but love, like the opposite of love, feels like what this world is right now.
Mm,
There is so much love in this world, but it's so hard to find when people look through. They want to be outraged. People want to go into a frenzy. People want clickbait, where it's a clickbait world. It's an outrage bait world. Like I can't imagine. I know. I mean, social media didn't exist when I was in school, but I can imagine how hard that must be. Like, because
Mhm.
like you school follows you home now as a kid. Like
Right.
bullies follow you home through your Facebook page,
Oh,
through
yeah.
your
Right.
Instagram, through your Twitter. Like I can't imagine the toughness that that takes, and I can't imagine like it's a weird thing, and I there are certain words that people don't even say anymore because of how sensitive the world has become. Like
Right.
they they say essays now instead of grape, right? Because because the algorithms will block you. Like
Right, right.
they say unalive yourself as opposed to like the S word. I can't even say it because YouTube will
Wow.
block me. Uh,
Right.
but back when people were joking about that stuff all the time, less people were doing it. And
Right.
now that they've silenced everybody on talking about it and joking about it, more kids are doing it. Like I don't know if there's any correlation in that, but it is strange.
It is strange. Yeah, I'm older than you. So for me, it's even different. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, totally, totally. The world is it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place for sure. And you can look at it in the positive or you can look at it in the negative, right? It's even like, I mean, heck, man, we get self-driving cars that take us everywhere. It's actually amazing. Just
You got a
what the next 5 years is going to be. It's going to be even different.
super magical computer with all the world's knowledge right in your pocket.
Right, right, just right there. They say President Reagan. I mean, he ran the world with less technology than this. What's in here? Less
Right.
technology that's right in your hands. It's pretty amazing, right? We got pretty interesting life we live in. I'm glad to be here, right?
I had this bit that I did on stage a bunch of times, and I'm sure I'm not gonna ever stop. I'll probably still do it, but I do this bit where I say, "I'm surprised that libraries still exist because everybody's got all the world's knowledge right in their phone, like right with them at all times. The internet is so accessible that like the library still exists is crazy to me. I went inside of a library and nobody was reading any of the books. Everyone was just using the internet inside the library. And I was like, wait, they're using the thing that makes this place obsolete inside this thing. Like, and I was like, it's like, I compare it to this. Say you go to your current girlfriend's house, holding hands with your side piece, and you knock on your door and you're like, hey, do you mind if we just make out in your living room real quick?
That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Um, that's funny. What have you been on? I mean, are you going on tour a lot lately? Are you on stage a lot?
No, man. I have two shows in May, and that's all I've got booked. Like that's all I have. And before that, I haven't been on stage since probably 2023. So it's been like
Hmm.
2 years since I've been on stage. But I mean, I stay writing. I have notebooks. I just write jokes all the time. I just stay
Wow.
stay on that grind. I'm trying to craft like new sets and new jokes and like and not just me doing this podcast, but I do two different other podcasts with my friend Lou, and we always do it like a joke of the week, and we always like come up with different bits. What I've been doing lately is I got this deck of cards. It has just like these goof jokes on them, and I'll just pick a random card and I'll read a joke. This is the pile of jokes that I've already read on the show. So the the not the fresh ones are around here somewhere. But I'll just pick one random one and I'll read it to you so you'll get an
Do it.
idea of the jokes. Why did the gym close down?
Why?
It just didn't work out.
Pretty good. Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I like it.
So,
It's funny. I
just
remember
random
that one.
on. Oh, here's the half of the deck that I haven't read yet on the shows. So I got my discard deck and my
Funny.
regard deck.
Oh, it's good. It's good. What what when you do your wrestling, what I mean, what I'm just curious. You're asking me questions, but what's the best match you've been in, or what was the best experience you had ever
I
in a
haven't had
wrestling
it
match?
yet. I haven't had it yet. Uh,
Seriously.
yeah. Uh, who knows? Who knows when it'll happen? Every moment's been awesome. I mean, there's some bits and bad ones, but like, I still got to do it, living my dream and loving my life. You know what I mean? I got to do everything. I, when I was a kid, man, I dreamed about being a lower level than I am right now. Like, and like, I never dreamed to be this skilled. I never dreamed that I'd be, you know what I mean? Like, I'd have this perspective on things, like as far as like footwork, like and ring positioning. Like, I didn't know that part of the training was gonna like really kick in the way that it has. Like, as far as like, it helped me with everything. It's not just like something I can only apply to wrestling. Like, it helps me with everything. When it helps me with the psychology of like less is more, and like the repetitive nature of things, and the like why things happen, and circumstances on stuff, like everything that I kind of like, I wound up being like everything that I know, everything I ever wanted to be was because I found wrestling. Like,
Mm.
because of pro wrestling. So like, I think at a younger age I used to act like, oh, I've been at this for so long, it owes me something. It doesn't owe me anything. I don't think it does. Like, it's given me so much, and uh, it took somebody telling me, and somebody who's actually running for a political office now. This man told me the wrestling business has been around way before you, and it will be around way after you're gone.
Mhm.
Uh, and I started applying that to everything I do. I started applying that to like podcasting hasn't been around longer than I've ever been around, but it'll survive beyond me, and
Right.
these recordings will survive beyond me. And that's why, like,
Absolutely.
I say these things that like, I hope that like, if it doesn't catch anybody's ears, then change anybody's mind today. What about 10 years from now? What about 15 years from now? What about 20 years from now? Somebody comes across this and they're like, oh, dude, that really just like shifted my mindset. That like really changed the way I look at this. And I feel like, this is kind of the reason I exist, the kind of the reason I'm on this planet. It gives me purpose.
When you were growing up, who was your idols on the in the wrestling field?
Uh, I liked all long haired guys. I like, if they were long haired guys, I was a fan. Like, like like I loved like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Triple H and Chris Jericho and Edge and Christian. Like, pretty much if anybody had long hair, I was a fan of them. Like, I don't I grew my hair out when I was really young. Like, I have had long hair since I was, and also it wasn't cool to have long hair. Pro wrestling wasn't cool to girls when I was a
Right.
kid. I was like, being a pro wrestler didn't make me cool. Like that, like I wasn't. Nobody knew I was a pro wrestler. I was training to be a pro wrestler while I was still in high school, so I was not
Really?
cool. I mean, I would come into school like with like black eyes and like a broken nose, and like, and people would just think like my parents were hurting me or something. Like, people thought I was having fights at home, and I'm like, no, like, I, nobody. Wrestling wasn't what it was now back then. Like, and like the style that I have now and the well, my style has evolved, but I'm saying like my hair and all that stuff that wasn't popular. It wasn't cool to look like this.
Right.
Like I had a man bun before it was ever even called a man bun. I uh, just liked that better than a little ponytail hanging off. I thought that a ponytail
Wow.
hanging off felt like I was a pony. I didn't want to look like a pony.
Right.
I'm an adult. No, I'm not an adult, but I mean back then. But I was like, I'm not a pony. I'm a human. I don't want to look like a horse's butt.
That's funny. That's funny. Who? I mean, have you wrestled anybody famous?
Um, a lot of the people that I have wrestled that have become famous, I've wrestled them before they were famous. The thing is,
Wow.
when 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 wrestlers, I hate to make this generality, to speak in this general term, but like when wrestlers get like wrestling famous, they kind of forget who they are. Like they kind of don't talk,
Right.
like a lot of wrestling opponents who have gone on to work for the WWE or
Right.
AEW or TNA or any big like televised pro wrestling, they just don't talk to you anymore. They pretend like
Okay.
they don't know you. Like they stop responding to you because when you get to a certain level, everybody wants something from you. So they
Right.
all probably imagine that I want something from them. And if I want anything, it's for them to come on my podcast, which is only going to benefit us both.
That's super cool, though. It's super cool. Yeah. Well, it's super cool that you're doing something that's not everybody does. It's risky. It's gutsy. You got to put yourself out there. Um, can't care what people think. Uh, I don't know. I just think it's super cool. Like I don't know. I don't know anybody else that's done what you've done. That's for sure.
I, that's another like a weird when I talk about like not fitting in, and it is weird to not fit in, especially like in this town I live in. I just moved here in the summer. I was living in a different part of Philly. I just moved to this county and I don't know anybody around here. And everybody kind of like I'm kind of treated like an outsider and I'm kind of like never included and it's like nobody knows I'm a wrestler. Like I don't talk about that stuff. Like
Yeah.
like nobody knows I'm Cory. Everybody knows me as James and they like it's not it's like a like working up here is way different. Like the I'm a server. Like I work at a restaurant and like it's like it feels like everybody around here is a certain level of oh you think you're better than me oh you think you're better oh I'm not impressed by any of that like so I just don't say anything about who I am uh, and
Uh, I I get what you're saying, but I think it's if people knew what you did, people would be like, I think would ask you a lot of questions. Cause I mean, just I mean, it's pretty out there. Like it's super cool. Like look, I'm just a regular dude, right? But I'm just saying it's like I think people are interested. I think people would really like to hear what your story because it's maybe something they wanted when they were a kid, they never did. I don't know, there's something just super cool about it.
hey,
By the way, you do comedy, you do
I don't think
wrestling.
you're a regular dude, Scott. I don't think that one bit. Like, listen to
Oh,
the things that you've experienced. Listen to where you've been. You just told me stories of stuff that like no one's ever done. Well, what
yeah,
regular people wouldn't be doing those things?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so
By the way, that's like in all fairness, that's like that's that much of what I've done because 'cause I've done so many cool it's like 30 years of me doing maybe it's not 30 years, maybe it's close to 30 of me just doing really extreme things every single year. Yeah, it's super cool. I agree with you. That's why I think you're so cool. Maybe because I've done cool things and I appreciate stepping outside the box for sure. I wish I had the guts to do what you did. Like, not that I wanted to be a wrestler, but like young guy, not caring what people think. He had long hair, which was probably I remember when I was a kid, like, dude, long hair like that. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm sure people judge the crap out of you, and you didn't care. You kind of did everything you want. I don't know. I think that's very. I think people admire that stuff, personally. But yeah, because it's hard. It's hard.
I just hope that whatever it is, it's like it takes you on to the next part of like the next level of inspiration, of
Right.
affirming that you made the right moves and that you like. I mean, a lot of people would look at like being 41 years old, never being like wrestling famous or whatever, like working on the independents, uh, as not really a success, or like my podcast not being like ranked high and not like being in the having a bunch of views on it yet. But I'm saying like
Yeah.
going like, well, that's that's not like I don't think that's why people wouldn't wouldn't be fascinated enough to ask me lots of questions. And like I for
Right.
sure am nothing like any of these people because I'm
Right.
doing way beyond what they're doing. Because it seems a lot of people, and I one more time, not trying to speak in like all generalities, but it seems like most people just want to get by, pay their bills, do their job, go home, watch TV, eat some junk, and then do it all over again.
Right.
And that's never felt like enough for me.
No, me either. That sounds boring. Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Totally get it. Totally get it.
I remember when I first started this podcast, that was 2017, right? And the girl that I was dating at the time, I remember being like, what I want, what I want to do is I want to have all my favorite podcasts, all my favorite podcast hosts know who I am. I want to be friends with all, like I want them to all want to be guests on my podcast. I want to be guests on all their podcasts. Like I want to be in these inner circles. Like I want to be on a first name text basis with this one and this one and this one and this one. And she was like, yeah, join the club. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to join the club of people who are in. And she's like, no, I mean like get in the back of the line. There's a whole bunch of people want that. I'm like, yeah, but all those people aren't me. None of those people have bring to the table what I bring to the table. Listen, I get you're living your content world, but don't put me inside of your content. Like I got I've got so much more to offer than all those other people in that line. And
Right.
and that's
Love that.
why I say now to stay inconsistent with things. So like even if I go 8 years and stay on the like who knows even anything about this podcast, and then like year 10 comes and everyone goes, oh man, why did we sleep on that podcast for so long? Like everything is like, and I even said this from the very start of the podcast. I'm like, the now's the time when I can make mistakes when the stakes are low. Like there isn't a million ears on it, like that are waiting to pounce on any of my mistakes. Like if I flub something, I can go, oh, whoa, whoa, well, at least nobody saw it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or
Not yet.
right, like
Right.
because when I first started doing the podcast, I was doing it as like a weekly radio show. I was going into an internet radio station uh, back
Wow.
when those existed. I would go into the radio station and record on their mics, and they were like, "Hey, you're live on the air. Don't say anything racist. Don't say anything homophobic. Don't say anything." I'm like, "Why
Wow.
would you think I would say any of that stuff?" And they're like, "Yeah, but it
Wow.
goes live out on the air, and people can hear it right away." And I'm like, "Yeah, but also I wouldn't do that." But they're like,
Right,
"Yeah, but
right,
we
of course.
we just got to tell you because the FCC, blah blah blah. You can't say this and that and that." And I'm like, all right, fine, sure, but like the stakes were still not that high. Like an internet
Right.
radio station, only the people who are on there listening to that at that time are going to hear it. Like
That's funny,
it's
man.
not like
That's
it was
funny.
going out on terrestrial radio.
Right, right. That's crazy. That's funny. Good for you, man, that you did all that. You get started off this on your own, trying to figure it out on your own, not knowing anything, and I mean, you've been at it for a long time. It's pretty amazing.
The whole like start of it was basically like I was a part of a pro wrestling, like a wrestle talk show. Like we would just talk about wrestling, and it would be
Okay.
1 hour per week. Every Friday we'd have studio time at this other studio,
Okay.
and we'd have to pay for studio time. So there was three of us, and we'd have to give $25 a piece to get 1 hour, right? Uh, so we'd have to make sure we stayed on topic and we got in all the news that we needed to talk about and give our
Mm,
opinions on in that week. And then like I remember I was at the time I was listening to all this other stuff that was like thought leaders. It was like Joe Rogan. I was listening to tons of Joe Rogan. I was
right,
listening to
yeah.
lots of Pete Holmes. Do you know Pete Holmes?
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to so much Pete Holmes, Duncan Trussell, Aubrey Marcus. I was listening to like all these things that were like kind of WTF, Mark Maron. I was listening
Mm,
to all these things that I would ultimately have wanted to have of my own show, but have it be hosted by me. I was listening to all that while I was co-hosting strictly only Wrestle Talk. Like all we can talk about is wrestling, and we have only an hour. And I remember
wow.
being like, if I had my own platform, if I had my own show, I would do this, and I'd have these conversations about this, and I'd want it to be like this. And I I did a podcast on this internet radio station with my friend Heather, and she had me on, and I said, "How much does Johnny charge you guys for studio space?" And she said, "Nothing, nothing at all." And I was like, "Oh." And then she said, "What do you want to start your own show?" And I was like, "Do I want to start my own show?" And then she's like, what ideas do you have?" And I told her, like I had these ideas. And I started telling her, and she forwarded that all right to the guy who was running the station, and he was like, "You got Mondays. You come in at this time, and
Wow.
you stay till ever you want to be there till whatever time you could be there." And then I got to go in, and I got to have these conversations with people, and I got to play music that I liked in between conversations with people, and I was like, "All right, well, this is like a pretty interesting thing." And then, and then the studio was closing down, and I was like, well, I could probably just do this at home. And I started just recording it from my iPad, and
Wow.
then I was like, well, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna Now that the pandemic hit, I was like, oh, and I'm gonna do it on my computer. Um, and I brought my iPad, my old iPad. I brought around, and I had some pretty major guests on the podcast pretty early on, like pretty
Really?
like big name comedians and podcasters have been on my show, and I was like, I was nobody with nothing to offer, like, but I think it appears like um, penetration wise, I guess if you were to have Googled me or something, you could
Right.
maybe go, okay, I could see wanting to be on this person's show. But like even when I reach out, I'm it's like a tree falling in the woods sometimes when I reach out to some people
Yeah,
for potential guests.
that's funny. That's really
Left
funny.
left
Yeah, but
on
you know
red.
what? You never know who's your biggest guest you've had.
My most popular episode was this guy named Mark Normand. Have you ever heard of him?
I don't know. I
Uh,
don't think so.
he's a comedian. He has a special on Netflix now.
Wow.
He's a frequent guest on Joe Rogan
Hmm.
these days.
I may have heard of him. Yeah, I mean, it's a familiar sounding name, but yeah,
He always
that's pretty cool.
comedy, comedy. But
Oh,
he's,
gotcha, gotcha.
he's a funny comedian, and
Oh, that's funny.
I it was funny is once we got done recording the podcast, he was like, "Hey, now that we're done, I have to ask you a couple questions." And he asked me a couple questions, and then at the end of it, he went, "You're the next Joe Rogan." He said that to me, and now that
Wow.
guy is frequently a guest on Joe Rogan, and I think
Really?
about that every time. And like now he's on Netflix and he's blowing up and his name means something, but like
Wow.
now he leaves me on red.
Well, you tried. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's cool though. It's cool you had him. He wasn't anybody before you had him. Now he's something, obviously.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Very cool.
and I'm not mad at him in any way for
Right. Of
any of his success or any of his not getting
course.
back to me. Who knows who sees what messages or we know like I stopped taking things like that personally like pretty soon into the whole experience of not just the whole experience of doing this podcast, but when we started doing Wrestle Rock, like reaching out to people and having them not get back to you was just not a rare occurrence. That happens pretty often. You
Oh gosh,
you
yes.
you gotta chop the tree more than once to knock the whole thing down.
Right. Totally, totally, totally. It's a great analogy actually. Yeah, it's great. That's just in life,
Use it.
right?
If ever there's a thing I say and you can apply it to some way in your life, somewhere in your life, please use it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's really good.
I'm not I'm not going like, hey, you stole that from me. Use it. If it
Right.
applies to you, apply it. If
That's
if
great
you
though.
if you go, oh, the shout out, I got this from Cory Kastle. Like,
Right.
cool. But if you don't do that, I'm not thinking personally at all.
That's funny. That's funny. It's really good though. Yeah, no, I like it. It's like you said, you don't know when all these people that got big, whether it be, Mark Norman or Normand, or if it's any of these people, they started right where you're at now, right? And everybody started at the bottom, and they, some people get their lucky break early, some people get it later, some people never get it. Who knows? But everybody did start with nothing, right? Everybody started with zero. So I think you're right on with you know famous wrestlers, whether they're famous now or later, or comedians or whatever it is. You're right.
I can't wait to forget everybody. I love when people go, "Hey, don't forget about me when you're famous." I'm like, I can't wait to forget about you when I'm famous. I can't wait.
It's funny.
When I reach out to you after you're famous, don't act like I don't exist or you don't know who I am. And I'm like,
Right, right.
I might.
Hope so.
I hope I do forget about you because I've noticed everyone who's got famous has forgotten about me.
That's funny. It's really good.
This is all satire. I'm totally messing around. I
Right, of
won't
course,
forget.
of course, of course.
That's why I put things on the record. That's why I say things because I don't want to forget about stuff. Like I do frequently remember that I've got some post concussion stuff going on. Uh,
Yeah.
the early 2000s were very filled with unprotected chair shots to the head uh,
Wow.
for me in the independence level.
Literally, huh?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I was concussed. I was probably concussed twice a month. Uh,
Whoa.
like probably from what so I'm gonna say probably from 2001 to 2005, probably.
What? Literally a lot, huh? That's pretty serious.
Yeah. So I mean, uh, I I do think one day I'll have like a CTE meltdown and go nuts and go on go on a rampage. But until that day, I have these record keeping
Funny.
conversations with people where I'm like, I can look back on that and like, hey, remember when I was pretty sane? Remember when I was
Funny.
civil?
That's funny. Remember it was normal? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
exactly. Remember when I was normal, not going through these CTE rampages?
It's funny.
I mean, but this helps keep me sharp. This helps keeps my like it keeps me inspired. Keeps me. Uh, this is my favorite thing I've ever done. Like I've done so many cool things. Like I mean, I'm not too affected by low performing episodes because like they perform well for me. Like I
You get
like them.
that.
And
Yeah,
that matters. And I hope that anybody who does discover any of this stuff gets value out of that. I hope anybody who comes on as a guest gets mainly their value out of that. Like I would say to anybody who I'd reach out to and ask them to be a guest, like you're not maybe going to get more followers out of it, but what you'll get is a quality conversation uh, that you
right.
can maybe like make a new friend out of it. Maybe you can get a new perspective out of it. Maybe you can make some cool clips out of it. Maybe like
Right.
it'll give you content. We're co-creating together, you and I today.
Or it's a yeah, it's or just a real conversation, real things, not fake. Where you learn about learn something or not, or maybe it's just really interesting. But
And
yeah,
we
I
haven't
like
looked
it.
at our phones this whole time. We
Yeah,
haven't
no,
looked
and
at
by the
our
way,
phone.
I learned a lot today. To be honest with you, you made me realize some things. I'm not just saying it. Like you've made me think deep about some things, just as far as like the father who I don't, think about a lot, or my growing up, or so. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and yeah, I like thinking deep. I like going deep and thinking about where I am today, where I was, or how I got there, or I don't know. I think it's important stuff.
I do a segment where I usually flip things around, especially especially you now being a new podcaster. I'll say I'll I'll flip it around and let you on the record ask me anything you want to ask me. You have been asking me lots of questions this entire time, so
You're interesting. You're
I
interesting.
I'm happy to answer any of your questions, but I definitely want to tell you while we're on the record because this is our first conversation, the longest conversation that we've ever had. I'm
Right.
looking forward to doing more of these. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm excited to now have made friends with you, and I'm excited about our future. And I want to say on the record, if you ever feel like I can be a useful resource to you in any way, don't ever feel like you're alone. You can count on me for some judgment free conversation. No limits. You can talk to me about anything. Don't ever feel at all like you don't have somebody. I'm on your
I
side.
love it. I love it, man. I love it. That's really good. Vice versa. That's really good. That's really good. And by the way, I'll have you at my next 6 weeks set up, and I would like to reach out to you. I'd love you to be on my podcast.
Yeah.
Um, it's been really
Dude,
well produced.
I'll give you, I might have already given you my phone number, but I'll give it to you again if I hadn't. Like
Yeah, let's make sure.
you call me, text me anytime. I'm
I,
right here. I got time for you, man.
I love it.
I want to say all that to you on the record to tell you, like the part also like where it truly is a currency to me. The value of your effort and your time. Like you could be doing anything in the world other than chatting with me right now, and you're
It's
giving
true.
your effort to me, and that is a currency that I can't repay. Your time is
Yeah,
something you can't get back. So many people waste so many right nows on right nows that have passed them by, and they'll never get back.
true. I
So
agree.
the fact that
I think about
that
that a
you
lot.
spend
I
any of
love
your
it.
right nows with me, so important.
I love it.
Any
Thank you.
questions you have for me? Anything that you'd like to say to
My
me?
last question will be, yeah, my last question is, so you're doing wrestling, you're teaching wrestling, you're a comedian, and you're a podcaster. So obviously you're out there putting your stuff out there, which is really impressive because I think most people don't do that. I'm just curious if things turn out the way you want them to turn out. I know they're already turning out the way you want them to turn out, but 9 years from now, you're gonna be 50 years old. What would you like in the next 9 years to accomplish or experience, or what would you like to be in the next 9 years? What you've gone through and everything you're still going through.
I would like to be a major creative force in the entertainment business. If not like with like all television and film and comedy, but pro wrestling as far as in the WWE or starting my own thing. I definitely see that as a path for my future. Um, if I could do this every day of the week, I will absolutely do it. Like this is my favorite thing that I do.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so I mean, in 9 years from now, I'd like to celebrate the 9 year anniversary of you asking me that question.
I love that. I love that, dude. That's really good. And I do believe in putting stuff out there, and you just put it out there. It's like you're saying what you want. Starts with that. Start thinking. So you probably already thought about it. I didn't bring it out of you by any means, but I think, yeah, I'd like to look back 9 years from now and see if that. I mean, you put it out there. The universe does. The universe answers what you want. I believe it. So got to put it out there. Pretty good.
There is a segment I do on this show called Audio Time Travel. Okay, so in the interest in talking about this audio might outlive us. This audio, this video, this platform might live on for another infinite amount of years. Let's
Sure.
just say your kids, your wife, your grandkids, the people who care about you the most, stumble across this recording. They're listening to it because they want to get like a better idea of who Scott is, of who dad is, of who grandpa is in
Hmm.
2025. They stumble across this in 2045. The next things you say are going directly into their ears. What are you telling them?
Hmm. So as far as like what you're asking me, what am I telling them? My thoughts on life, or my thoughts about myself, or what is it like? If I was going
Timestamp
to say,
on right now. A
I would
timestamp on
say,
right now that's going to be evergreen. That's going to
I would
translate into 20 years from now.
for myself, I say, I'll just say this: what I would say to my kids. I've said this to them. I have two girls, and I got four stepkids. But I say, go for it. Don't hold back. Don't care what anybody thinks. Go all in on yourself. Um, don't do anything half-assed. Go full bore if that's what you really want. Put it out there. Manifesting is important, but when you're manifesting, you're thinking about what you want for your future, and you're feeling it now like it's already going to be in the future. By the way, I'm talking like I do all this stuff, and I don't do it all the time, but I do think about it. But I would say if I was going to, like with my children, always like go for it, do everything you want to do. And I think I've done a good job with my kids because they're doing it. But not that I've done everything I wanted to do, but I do believe in it, and I don't want to have any regrets. And I hope my kids don't have any regrets either. Like they did everything they wanted to do. Not when I say doing, just like going for what they want to be. Well, I'll just tell you my quick little story. My daughter was in going to college, and I told her she went to Philadelphia. She got into all these art schools. Oh, and she's a really talented artist. And I said, we traveled the country because it was the first kid going away to college. She was in New York, and she ended up going to Philly, which I'll tell you the story. She was in San Francisco, all these great art schools. And finally I said, no way, Samantha, I'm not, you're not going to this art school where you're painting and you're going to be selling your stuff on the beach and you're going to be broke. I said, get a regular degree. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying because college is super expensive. But anyway, long story short, she graduated school, and guess what she is? A full-time artist. And I should have just let her do what she wanted to do because that's what she wanted to do. And she's an influencer. She's got this crazy following for her art, but I should have just like I'm telling I've always regretted not letting her do what she wanted to do, and she ended up doing it anyway. So does that make sense? Like anyway,
But you never know if you urging her to not be that motivated her in a way more to be that. So
maybe Corey may be right.
had you been all the way like yes you can absolutely do that. I'll pay for college for you to go be somebody who sells paintings on the beach.
Right.
If you would have just if if that would have just not she would it wouldn't have lit the fire under her the way it did. And maybe
Maybe.
somewhere deep down she's grateful for that. I,
Maybe.
I mean you'd hope so. When
Yeah,
you when
you're
you
right.
when you when you live in regret, um, when you live in regret, then like who you are and like where you are might be a different place than where you are and who you are now. And
Right.
maybe Samantha's more grateful that you did do that.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
maybe you can put that down. Maybe you
Yeah, no,
can
she's yeah.
maybe you can let go of that regret.
I've
Not
apologized
feeling
for her. She says, "Dad, I'm great. Don't even think about it. You kidding me?" Just like she's great. Yeah, she's great. She really is great. So I appreciate that, Corey. That, you're
I
so
just
right.
I have a couple really quick things, and then I'll send you off into the sunset with a hot dog
Okay.
and a handshake. We'll take it home. So, now that we've done the audio time travel, um, I'm going to say, hypothetically, I've gifted you this show. This is your first podcast, your first episode of Evolving with Scott Zimmerman, episode one, the pilot episode, in a very Jerry Springer's final thought type of way. You wrap up the most valuable takeaways and put it in a package that would inspire somebody to be a better version of themselves tomorrow than they are today.
You're asking me what that is, what I got out of this show. Well, I would say this. One of my biggest takeaways from the show was listen to you talk about your relationship with your father, that he wasn't there, and how you are the person that you would want your dad to have been. To me, that was just to be honest, that was a huge takeaway because I think it's a great way, it's a great thought process. A lot of people go through things in life, and I don't think some people do, but I think most people don't think that to that level. And more people are angry and hold on to things. I got a lot out of today. I thought just that was just beautiful and just a different way to look at things instead of being a villain or feeling sorry for yourself. So I just really, I don't know, to me, that touched me in a different way. And I thought it was just really powerful. And to me, if people could take away, because people hold on to things so much, myself, maybe you, maybe just the world, but it's like, that's just a better way to look at life. And I don't know, that was my takeaway today, to be honest with you.
As the movie Just Friends would say, forgiveness is more than saying sorry.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I'll tell you this one thing. I had one of my best friends years ago. We haven't been friends in 10 years. I invested in his business and I didn't know what I was doing as an investor and I was greedy. And I was like, I had this great return on my money. I was putting money into his business and it's a whole story behind it. He didn't know how to run a business. And without knowing it, he took my money. He wasn't trying to take my money. He didn't know how to run a business, and he was robbing Peter to pay Paul, and things didn't work out the right way. But he tried it. He just got in trouble himself. But bottom line is, he stole my money, and I held on to that for a long time, a very long time. And it took me. I thought about it every day for years until I figured out how to forgive. I don't forget. I want to be friends with him, but I let it go. And once I did that, my life is not been, it's been just a weight lifted off my shoulder that I thought about every single day for years. When I thought about it every day, I felt a tremendous amount of pain, just anger and pain. But I let it go, and it took me a long time. But it's just like you're right, forgive. You said that too earlier, and when you said that to me, that's what the story came to my head. It's like you're so right on, man. You're so right on. Like forget, move on. There's better using brain space to have anger or animosity towards something that doesn't matter in life that you're not going to think about the next when you on your deathbed. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I really those are the things I got from you today, and I really appreciate it. Without even you realizing it, you helped me today.
You, you want to know a thing I always thought about when I was a kid that like I still think about it every time somebody says the phrase uh, half-assed. Uh,
Mhm.
when I was a kid, I thought that they were saying half-asked, like like you were doing only half of what you were asked to do. Like
Right.
I never thought it was half-ass. Like I didn't know what full ass was. I don't understand. I didn't understand a half-ass versus a full ass. So
That's
like
funny.
the phrase half asked seemed to make more sense to me. I I'm trying to think about how to make that into a bit, but there's nothing I can think of other than just going like,
You'll think of it. You'll think of it.
yeah, there's a nugget of something in that half of ass.
Right, right. Love it. Well, thank you for having me, Cory. I really appreciate it.
You do any impressions at all, Scott?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I
No.
really don't. I've not been an actor. I don't do anything.
Okay, in just like your silliest goofball voice, can you say the way we wrap it up, the way we take it home is we say, "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving."
Be fun. Hold on, let me write this down. Be fun, be safe,
Be fun,
be
have
evolved.
safe. It's like have fun, be safe, but the other way around.
Be fun, be safe,
Be fun, have safe.
have safe,
Yes,
be evolved,
keep evolving.
keep evolved. Okay.
This is a comedy bit in itself.
I know.
It's like
I can't be an actor. I could never be an actor. Be fun, have safe, keep evolved.
Thank you. Thanks, Scott. I hope we do this again soon, man. I can't wait to
Absolutely, man.
do your podcast.
Yeah, you're on next.
I wish
You're
all the
next.
best for you and your kids, man.
Thanks,
Give my love to your family. Everybody,
appreciate
if this is your first time checking out the podcast, if this is your first time checking out the YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment, tell us your favorite takeaways, your most important parts of the episode. Uh, you know, share it with somebody who it might bring some value into their lives. If you're feeling like you're holding on to something, maybe forgive, let it go for your own benefit. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, be fun, have safe, keep evolving.
Love it.